people talk about how much like Stormin and Skibadee touched their lives and influenced them, and
he was just coming up with ideas. What about do this? What about do that? And we all start laughing, like, and then what it is, he'd go, no, listen, and he'd just do it, and you'd be like, oh, that's actually quite sick.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. The energy that Stormin would bring, just to a recording session or a writing session.
Yeah.
Those jokes. He was such an ideas man as well.
From that moment, I knew that there was something special about that guy.
Yeah. And even to me as a performer, like, he made me up my performance levels because he was so visual on the stage. Yeah. Watching him and what he did is very inspirational in terms of performance as well.
I feel like their beliefs, both of them, they was all about SaSaS.
And I remember, like, afterwards, Skibba was like, bro, like, it was so good to meet him. And I was like, bro, I said, he was more gassed to meet you. I still don't believe that he realised how well known he was.
SaSaS show. Best of the best of the best with the very fresh flow.
Right, we can't be here today talking about all music, life and everything without like talking about our brothers, aka Skibadee and Stormin. RIP to the pair of you.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. You know, look, Shabs, do you want to start?
I just want to start, obviously, I mean, Stormin, as you know, he was a fighter, he was a survivor. Of
course.
He was, he was obviously our brother, do you know what I mean? Like, me personally, I grew up with his uncle, and I met Sean when he was young, do you know what I mean? So like, I see him when he was young, and his uncle said to me that he was into music, and I remember watching him grow up anyway. Cut a long story short, I was in his flat one morning, we come back from a rave or whatever, and Sean come in, and he started spitting bars, do you know what I mean? And he just, the whole room, there was about 10 people in the room, but everyone was like, wow, like, he's sick, do you know what I mean? And then I see him do that nasty thing. Anyway, cut a long story short again, he said, look out for him, he wants to come and do a bit of MCing thing. So we took him to Bar Rumba. I think it was Fun's birthday or something like that.
First time I met Stormin.
So we took him to Bar Rumba, and then he grabbed the mic, and I'd done a little bit, I was working there, I'd done a set, and he went on after. I think he went on with a few man, and he just smashed it, man. And from that minute there, like, I just was like, wow. And he was just like, I want to do this, I want to do this. So we just started just talking, and then he started coming on the road with me for a couple of years. Like, he was running around doing his thing. He was kind of on the roads at the time doing his own thing, and I was just like, bro, you need to stop doing that, you need to do this music thing. And he was like, yeah. Anyway, he started doing it, and then he just broke through his energy, his passion, and like, he used to come check me, like, in the morning, pads and pens, just on it, you know what I mean? Just hungry for it, do you know what I mean?
I mean, the energy that Stormin would bring, just to a recording session or a writing session, those jokes, he was such an ideas man as well. He was such a good hook man. Like, he had the craziest idea or flow, and then we could all bounce off that. He brought so much to the table, man. And even to me as a performer, like, he made me up my performance levels because he was so visual on the stage. His energy was mad. So it made me think, boy, can't be standing there. I've got to be having that same level of movement and everything else. He upped my whole levels of even crowd hype and that level of MCing, do you know what I mean? Which I was always being more focused on lyrics and bars, but watching him and what he did is very inspirational in terms of performance as well. And I just think, there's so many mad stories, man. I mean, the funniest ones is obviously that, like, I'm not a smoker, you know what I mean? But certain times I'd have a little blaze with him, bro. Like, I would just, like, you know, on them long journeys, bro, he got me mashed up a few times. But I did return the favour with a few alcohol sessions as well, you know what I mean? I remember a couple of times coming back from Bristol, that man was a bit wave. So we just had some great times together, man. It was always love. And I just say that just the energy that Stormin brought into a room, it was he's so mesmerising, bro.
He was a joker, that he was just like, he just always just used to make people laugh, and he was so passionate about things as well. Like, he used to take things really, like, seriously as well. And I used to tell him, look, no, man, don't worry about that. It's different, man. This is not grime. And he was like, no, I want to do this. I want to show that. He was just like, he was so like that as well. Like, but I realised now, looking back, that he was so passionate. Do you know what I mean? And it meant a lot to him, where other people just let that slide. Even me, I'm kind of just like humble. I'm just like cool, like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Skibbs was more like that. Probably Shots is like that as well. But he was just so like, wow, no, man, the man, I know he's talking about me. And he used to get mad about MCs talking about him. And he's like, I'm going to send for a man. And I was like, brother, you can't, this is drum and bass. And he's just had that. He's not like he wanted, but he was just
so passionate about his craft, man. And and obviously he come from the grime thing, where it's very much clash orientated as well. So competition is like, you know what I mean?
Dearly, man. I miss him dearly. I'm just, like you said, like the ideas, the energy, and everything.
Well, I
man.
remember this time. I think we was abroad. I think it might have been in the snow thing. And do you remember everyone was in the hotel room writing?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, the jokes, man. And like as you say, he was just coming up with ideas. What about do this? What about do that? And we all start laughing, like. And then what it is, he'd go, no, listen, and he'd just do it, and you'd be like, oh, that's actually quite sick.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He
would thrive off the jokes and then put those jokes into bars, and he brought so much entertainment. Do you know what I mean? Even in the garms he would wear. Do you know what I mean? Flamboyant, crazy garms and all that. Do you know what I mean?
Also, as well, a lot of people don't know this, but he was also an artist called Teddy Brockshot.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I was looking
at that at the radar.
Teddy Brockshot was sick.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain tune with Sir Spyro, one of my favourite tunes. I can't think of what it's called now, but big tune, you know. Teddy Brockshot, go check it out with Spyro, man. It's
Stormin, absolute legend. And then our brother Skibadee, like, we all have our. I mean, I remember. I will tell you how I met Skibs. The first time I ever met him was at a rave. It was at Slamming Vinyl at Bagley's, and I was with DJ Probe, and I just remember this guy emceeing for me was sitting down, and I was like, why is this guy sitting down? And like Probe was going, no, that's Skibadee, man. I was like, I don't care who it is, like what's he doing sitting down? So me and Skibs would always talk about that, and he'd be like, bro, it was so hot in there, you don't understand. And it was, I was dripping. And then what happened is about a month or two later, me and Phil from Desire, do you remember that rave, Desire?
Desire,
so me and Phil run a rave at the pleasure rooms or the leisure lounge in Holborn. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And we done a rave, right? And we booked, say, about 20 artists. And there was more artists there than ravers. I think we had about 5 ravers in, and we had about 18 artists in. And I remember how embarrassing it was. And everyone was like, bro, you got my money. And I was like, oh my God. So next thing you know, Skibber walked out. And as he walked out, I was like, yo, Skibs. And I followed him. I got a little bit of money. It's only like petrol. And he went, no, don't worry about it. And I said, bruv, like, come on, man, just take that. And he went, it was only 30 quid. I said, look, I got 30 quid. And he was like, bruv, don't worry about it. I can see you've had a bad night. I wouldn't mind. But he actually went in there and MC'd to them 5 people for an hour. Then come out, didn't want his money. And I remember thinking to myself, I had like 20 people doing my nutting for like, some money. It was fair enough. They done their work. They wanted their money. But he just walked out and didn't care. And from that moment, I knew that there was something special about that guy. Yeah,
because that story you told is so reflective of his character in general as a human being. He was always worried about everyone else, you know what I mean, as opposed to himself a lot of the time. Do you know what I'm saying? He was so giving and so generous and kind. You know what I mean? I remember when I first linked him, man got pizzas in the studio and was like looking after man and saying like, you want a drink? Like he was just like that. Just a very genuine, kind soul. Do you know what I'm saying? So that story you told is just one of many that me, you, Shabs, but probably even ravers and supporters will tell you stories about Skibs. You know what I mean? He would check in on people.
He was like Steve used to call him the feminine one of the group, innit? Like he was just, man, he had his own ways, and he used to get like wound up about silly little things as well, like different things that nothing like what Stormin was. He was so humble though. He was cool with it. He used to just make it look simple. And that's what a lot of people used to say to me. So even the MC thing, it was just easy. They used to call him the Iron Lung. He was just
Iron Lung. That's right.
He used to go through sets and sets and sets, and I've been away with him so many times that, you know, I've lost count. And there was times that I went and I burnt out, mate, and he was just going, mate. He's just going. And I mean, we miss him deeply. And one memory that sticks in my mind, I actually told it at his memorial as well, was when we went to Thailand, and we spent like 2 weeks. We was on tour for a week. We come back from New Zealand with SaSaSaS, and then we stopped in Thailand. We had a few gigs over there. I took him fishing with me and all that, and that was a mad experience.
Oh, the iconic photo of you and Skibs with that big fish.
I'll never forget that. That'll stay.
That turned into a meme, innit?
And just like there was a storm over there, so we couldn't get back, and our party got cancelled, and was like, what we're gonna do, man? Like, what we're gonna do? We're gonna go back. We're gonna miss this gig, and it was like, no, we can do it, but you've not got to stay, but you got to stay for another week. So it was like, what we're gonna do? But it was a storm. When I mean a storm, I don't mean like
it was proper,
of rain. It was like torrential rain. But we stayed in the hotel. Was getting bit by flies. It was sitting in a 100 degrees in the room, and flies was getting bit, man. It was like ants were biting us, and we was sitting there with full tracksuits on. It was just like, it's like, we can't stay here, man. We had to move, so we got some next place. But it was just a drama, man. We ended up driving around in about 45 minutes in a taxi, and the place was across the road. Because the rain was so bad, we didn't know where it was going. And the man took us for a ride, innit? He got for an extra score, innit? So it was just like, yo, man, we was just there. We could have walked across the road. He took us to some next place. Anyway, but yeah, R.I.P. Skibbs, man. I miss him dearly, man.
Yeah, man. It's like, I mean, I always think like we were just like, people talk about how much like Stormin and Skibadee touched their lives and influenced them. And, you know, even during the pandemic, Skibber, for instance, he was like doing the breakfast in Skibadee's thing. And it was keeping people going. It was keeping people motivated. Him being on there with all his energy and people were locking in every day just to see him on the stream.
A lot of people in drum and bass, man, through the lockdown. He helped them a lot.
He helped them massively, bro. Like we said earlier, the artists. And it's just like, I think, you know, he touched people that he didn't even necessarily know. Whereas we were so blessed to spend all those hours with man, whether it was studio, whether it was traveling, eating food, the jokes, airports, all of that, man.
That's why it's important for us to, you know, continue doing this because, you know, for a man like Skibbs and Stormin, do you know what I mean? Especially like, I feel like their beliefs, both of them, they was all about SaSaS, do you know what I mean? Skibbs especially, like he was, everything was focused about the group. And even though he was doing his own thing, he was always, you know, Steve, I don't need to tell you, you know what I mean? He was probably on the phone to you every day.
I spoke to him
on it, do you know what I mean? And he was always, you know, in concern with the group and breaking next levels and, you know, taking this thing right to the heights. And that's what we continue to do. And I think that with their blessings as well, do you know what I mean? Which is important.
The thing is just touching on that, what you said is, and we did talk about it earlier with Skibbs, he was all about the future and, you know, like bringing people in, using his platform, using the platform we have to bring new people through. And, you know, the amount of young DJ producers that I hadn't even heard of, like you said earlier, that he was like, you need to check this person out, check this person out. And, you know, he just seemed to find these people.
And also, he's a good A&R because he was talking to me about Gardner for a long time. And you see Gardner now, he's getting Record of the Week on Radio 1. He's doing his thing. Do you know what I mean? He's doing with DRS.
Talent, definitely.
And, you know, who's the other? There's someone else who he told me about from early as well.
Crossy,
that's what I'm talking about. The Born on Road man. And look what they're doing now.
As well.
He was on to me about Crossy for time. You know what I mean? He's good A&R man as well. He's got a good ear for music.
Another thing about Skibbs, and I'll always remember this, when we did the Red Bull Culture Clash and Lethal Bizzle came in and was like, Lethal Bizzle was gassed to see Skibbs and Shabba. He's like, oh my God, you lot are icons and that. And I remember like afterwards, Skibber was like, bro, like, it was so good to meet him. And I was like, bruv, I said, he was more gassed to meet you. And he's like, and he was so like, nah, man, but it's Lethal Bizzle, innit?
He's,
and I was like,
he's mad humble about things like that. If I told him, like, oh, Kano mentioned you on a song, he'd be like, whoa. I was like, but you man influenced Kano, innit? You know what I mean? And he'll say that as well.
He was like that, man.
He never, I think up until the last day, I still don't believe that he realised how well known he was,
and his influence, and what he brought to the MC culture, bruv, in this country. You know what I mean? You can talk to anyone from your Soul Solid, Wiley, anybody, and they will say that Skibber Shabba, that's foundation of MCing things in this country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he's even down to the part like his celebration of his life when we did a event for him and that. I mean the vibes and ravers come out, man. They come out that day. They come out in concert
all
level. All his lyrics. We was chatting his lyrics, and he, like you said, Steve, he didn't even have half of the clue how
loved he was.
Yeah, how loved he was. That's the word I was looking for. Like,
but the one thing I said to him, I remember he met this guy from a TV show, like a reality show, and he was like, "Yeah, bruv, like meet this guy here." And I was going like, I said to him, "Bruv, that guy is known, he's on this TV show, he's known, but do you know what? If you actually took how many people know you over the last 25 years that don't even like drum and bass or jungle now, but they still remember you." And like he was like, no, but he's on the telly. And I'm like, bro.
But that's just Skibbs, isn't it? Humble guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he didn't.
That's what made him who he was. Yeah. Like his actual attitude towards things as well. He was he was so laid back, so relaxed. And certain things that I used to stress out, he'd be like, "No, man, don't worry, man, we're going to be all right." Like, he was always like that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I remember one time, I've a lot of things, it takes a lot to get me annoyed, but there was one thing that happened that got me annoyed, and he was just on the phone to me, and he's like, "Bruv," I think I said something in our WhatsApp group. He didn't even reply in the group. He phoned me, he went, "Bruv, get that out of your head right now." And I was like, oh sorry. And he's like, "Just get that out of your head now. You don't need to be thinking like that." And I was like, "Yeah, but the thing is," and he went, "No, stop it." And he just like shut it down. And I remember thinking, do you know, it's weird because I felt that go. And I was like, bruv, like, you know,
he was always a believer in keeping that bad energy away. Do you know what I mean?
He wrote a lyric about it. Bad energy, stay far away.
Yeah.
We still need to do something with that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but you know, like Skibadee, absolute legend. Stormin,
man. Iconic legends, man.
And their music lives on, man. And what they brought to the game could never, ever be denied. It has to be celebrated.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? 100%.
Definitely.
SaSaSaS, beats and bars, fresh, fresh, fresh. Done know it heavy. The best of the best of the best. So ask them if they're ready. Yes, yes, yes. SaSaSaS, beats and bars, fresh, fresh, fresh. Done know it heavy. The best of the best of the best. So ask them if they're ready. Yes, yes, yes.